Today, I'm here at the Kelowna Yacht Club with Anita Parker of Wisdom, Wealth, and Well-Being, joining me for a little podcast that we're doing every week and every other week or so on, or whenever we find good-looking people, which you happen to be.
Well, thank you.
Well, I don't want to hang out with ugly people, so that makes life a little bit easier.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. I'd like to pair that good-lookingness with brains as well.
You do.
Intellect.
You are a very diverse person. Besides being European, you're very business-minded. But you come from a world, like you started out as a dental hygienist for 26 years. Now, what the hell? How old are you? Like you look like you're barely 40.
Correct. No.
Yes.
No, I'll actually be 49 next month.
Oh, God.
I know.
All
I'm
right.
excited to turn 50 next year.
Well, you must be the first woman that is excited about that.
I am actually. I'm embracing it. To me, I'm almost already there. But yeah, it kind of seems like that was such a lifetime ago. Mm-hmm. And it was what was necessary. My generation very much grew up in a time where you went to school, you got your education, that was your profession, and you carried it right through until you retired. Mm-hmm. And I drank that Kool-Aid for sure.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a time in my life through childhood, teen years, where there was a lot of uncertainty. So all I really wanted once I was done high school was to really dive into something where I'd have that security, great income coming in. Mm-hmm. And so I took part in that, and it was an excellent career, and it allowed me to be of service and to help others, which is huge on my heart.
Yeah.
But I always felt this nudge for like being more, doing more, being able to give more, and I knew I could never do it being behind a mask and a pair of scrubs.
Yeah. So now why Wisdom, Wealth, and Well-Being? Because you just acquired the franchise or the ownership of it a year ago?
Actually May of this year, so May 2024. Wow, it feels like it was forever ago.
I know, that's actually all I know of you.
Okay, yeah, so here's how the Wisdom, Wealth, Well-Being came into play. When I started working with the business that it once was, which was under another brand, mm-hmm. Wine Women Well-Being, I started off as a franchisee, mm-hmm. and I loved it. I saw what we created up in northern Alberta, amazing women coming together, collaborating, partnerships, even women that were doing the same thing came together, and that mm-hmm. is I find a platform that is really starting to grow, mm-hmm. of not feeling like we have to be against each other. Let's be together and let's do some good. So from all of that and what I had acquired from all the different people that I was meeting and the community impact that was going on at these events, when I acquired the company, I'm like, our brand really doesn't have anything to do with wine.
Yeah.
And for me, it was
other than did you drink it?
Yeah, and I mean, not that there wasn't wine at these events. Of course, no problem. And I like wine. There's mm-hmm. nothing wrong with
You're Italian,
wine. I'm Italian. We were making wine in the basement. And for me, it was like having these spaces for like incredible knowledge, mm-hmm. not only to inspire people. Inspiration is wonderful, but it wears off in a couple days.
Yeah.
I wanted people to have tangible things to register in their brains, but also leave with these tangible things to put and implement into their lives, whether it was personally, professionally, financially, etc. So for me, it was more about giving people knowledge that they were really hungry for and a community to do that in. One thing I think people are still finding after our adventures in 2020. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, yeah. Now that feels
that's
like...
That's what I call it,
wow.
an adventure.
It was amazing. It was quite something.
It was life-changing for me. It was really positive, and we can talk more about that later. But people are so hungry for community. People mm-hmm. are still feeling misplaced. And so when I'm having these events or I go to these events, there's this sense of like, oh my gosh, there's actually people here that I can be relatable with, that understand my journey. And here's the thing with entrepreneurship, because we do attract a lot of entrepreneurs at these events, or people who are like at the gate ready to go through.
Isn't that like I find in the world of entrepreneurship, it's interesting that you say that. There's a lot of people that think they want to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And then they realize, oh shit, I'm not. And there's not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
It's a nice way of exploring it. And I find in North America, having the ability to be like that, we're living in a community where it's encouraged to be entrepreneurial.
Very much.
Versus like in Europe, in Italy, there's no way. Like to be an entrepreneur in Italy,
It's very different.
it's very different.
My family is in gas and olives in Italy.
Oh wow, they are.
So it's very interesting, but you're right, it's not the norm there.
No, but it's
very
a
different.
generational now.
100%.
So they are in it because they started it 50, 60, 100 years. Doing it right now, I don't think there would be. I have a friend of mine that started building, he bought a townhouse in Italy. And he said just the renovation took him over 2.5 years. Between the application, like everything is just so bureaucratized and
Very slow.
yes.
Very
Yes.
slow, at
Yeah.
their own pace.
Yeah.
And they don't find anything wrong with it.
No.
They actually really honor rest and relaxation,
Yeah.
good food,
Yeah.
good fashion.
Which is
etc.
something I think we could learn up here, even like to slow
Yes.
down. Although we're in Kelowna, we're in Kelowna, it's slower than in other parts of the city or in the country.
100%.
But the way they live in Europe is just so.
They understand how to love life. I spent a month there last year, and I was like, and as I was there, I was actually working on another business that I had, and go, 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 because very much that mentality of hustling, because you have to pay bills, you have to
But
take
we
care
all
of
do.
your staff, you have to live. And so it was like, and I'm watching them doing their work, not that they don't work hard, because they do, but then they work to a certain point of the day, and then it's all about time together as a family, going to enjoy the beauty around them. Like
And
I'm looking at the beauty around us
look
right
at this.
now, and they get that they're not going to sacrifice their time
Their
together.
well-being.
Their well-being,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it is more like you work to live, not you live to work. Which is in North America, like you start working, you get like what, 5 days, 10 days vacation a year?
Yeah.
In Europe, like when I was talking to my parents, they get 30 days.
Yes.
30 days vacation paid. This is unbelievable.
That's actually amazing. I didn't know that.
In Germany, yeah, 30
we need
days.
to push that for Canada.
32. Well, I feel like my people take advantage of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've been in the business where you're a public speaker. You're really good at public speaking. And coming from somebody like you and I were going to be at the Fucked Up event coming up in
Yes.
September, talking there.
Yes.
I'm very nervous about it.
Okay. I didn't know this about you.
I am. I'm very good in one-on-one, despite the fact I'm very good one-on-one. However, going like in front of people. I was like,
okay.
don't really like that too much. So how do you get to overcome that?
Well, here's the thing is that I've always, I think, have envisioned myself on a stage helping people. I didn't know how it was going to be. So in 2020, I had to reinvent myself. So that's how the entrepreneurship really started for me, of like, how am I going to reinvent myself? Because I don't want to go back to a career that was physically damaging my body.
Well, because you're like...
Yeah, like you can't hold flexion for an 8-hour shift. And so I was having health issues, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this online business, right? The whole world shifted to online, so it was only natural for me to start a business online. And so that's what I did. And in that business, there was a lot of mentorship. There was a lot of leadership development, and I sucked it in. So like a sponge, I wanted every piece of it because I knew I had something that I could offer people that would help them in their wellness journey. So it was a multi-level network marketing company that sold nutrition, etc. And there was so much.
I hate that shit.
I know, and a lot of
I
people
hate that
don't love
shit.
it. And I
No.
was like, what will people think of me? I'm selling products online. But that was the beginning and the birth of branding myself as Anita.
Yeah.
Because people were actually purchasing me. they began to know, like, and trust me. I was working with an incredibly reputable company that's a certified B Corp. So this isn't just a fly-by-night company. It's been around for almost 50 years.
What's it called?
Arbonne.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
My wife loves that shit.
Yeah, I love it too, and I still use it. I don't build teams anymore, but what happened was very quickly, within 2 months, I was like made huge impact, and within 10 months, I was able to retire. I had super.
What the fuck? You retired?
I retired as a dental hygienist because I had superseded what I was making as a dental hygienist doing
Good for
this.
you.
So I built it across the country. I started building in the U.S. as well with clients, and it was insane. Like,
that's incredible.
it was insane. And so from that, what happened is I started training others because they wanted to know how I did this in such a short amount of time. And
can you say, while we're talking about this, that anybody can do it?
Anyone who wants to make change and who is determined and it's integral and you believe in it can make it happen.
You do think so, eh?
I do.
Because I find it, like, I got to know you a little bit over the last couple of months, and you're one of a kind, man. You are. It takes a certain type to push through resistance, and
yes.
you are. I think you're just really good at being enough of a pain in the ass to push through things. Actually, like, you just push through.
I do.
And people give up too easy.
Yes. And for me, and that's it. It's resilience and perseverance. And those are definitely key words in my values of what I have. Integrity's in there as well. And being a genuine human. So getting back to your question about how do I do it? Yes, I had all that development. I started taking leadership development courses outside of that business. And I knew, even though I was in this vehicle of selling these products, I knew it was meant for more. I knew I was supposed to share more. And I ended up at the Delta Grand at an event in 2022. Someone said I should be there. And it was a room full of about 500 women, female entrepreneurs mostly. And I had not started building business in Kelowna. I'm like, I'll go check this out. That night, there was a woman there sharing her story. And there was a similarity to my story. She talked about addiction, abuse, and
what were you addicted to? I want to know.
I didn't say it was me.
Oh, similarities.
But I understand there was family addiction in her family, and that resonated for me because that was something that was happening in my family as well. And so I was like, watching her have the courage to share that she's all the way up in here and crushing it nationally with her business, except she shares the authenticity and the real raw story of like, hey, I've been through the stuff, the heavy stuff. And I had tears in my eyes going, it's okay, it's safe now for me to share my things.
You know what I find vulnerability is
100%
undervalued. Showing vulnerability, mostly starts, like, if you can, stop caring about what other people think. Who fucking cares what
100%.
other people think? But that's the only time you can be vulnerable. Because if you, like, I share my story all the time too. And there's ups and downs. Like, I stopped drinking alcohol because it was just too much. I just, like, I don't drink every day, or I used to drink. But like, I when I do drink, it's never just a fucking glass. It's like 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And not because you want it. It's just socially. Italy.
Yes.
When you go to Italy, like, they all,
100%.
you just
it's just
have a
part
glass,
of the
have a 2,
culture.
have 3, have 4, have 5.
Absolutely.
And then, that's a bottle in.
Yeah.
So I just stopped that, and life improved so much.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yeah.
Relationships everywhere.
Absolutely.
But even me talking about that, at the beginning was difficult. And people say, oh my God, good for you, da-da-da.
Yeah.
But it's the reality. Like, whether we like the reality or not doesn't change anything, right?
Yeah, and I think when we can be honest and share, again, it makes it relatable. And so when you ask me about, like, did I take public speaking? No, I share my heart of, like, hey, here's the journey. here is like the things that have happened that shaped me into the Anita that you see today. I didn't just show up in my nice dress with my makeup and hair done.
I know. I've seen that Anita too.
You didn't see me with no makeup coming out of yoga. Hot mess.
Very hot mess.
Very hot mess.
No, but you cleaned up nice.
So, well, thank you. So it's just, I don't feel scared to talk in front of people because I know I'm going to always be honest with them. Like, we're speaking at Fuck Up Nights on September 5th. There's the little plug.
Oh, there you go.
September 5th, get your tickets. And I don't feel nervous. I feel like if I can help another entrepreneur or a human being for that matter, or someone they know to move forward so that they can believe that they are worthy and capable, my business here on this earth is
done.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Yeah, you see, I'm the opposite. I only care I want everybody to be fine, but like I only want to look after the people I actually care about, not so much about the ones that I don't care about. So everybody has their own place.
100%.
Like I'm not. There's a right or wrong.
Absolutely.
There's just I admire that the people like you can do that. And actually on your social media, Anita's Best Life, you do show that actually. You do show all kinds of facets.
Yeah, facets
of your life, and
I do.
it's very nice to see.
What makes it more real, like a lot of people have preconceived notions of they thinking, well, of course she has this or she's doing that or she got that opportunity, but that came from things of hardship, struggle.
It always is. The people only see the good things. They don't see the behind the scenes, which is in the social media world, I find it's a little bit the downside of actually seeing the hustle behind it, the tears, the sleepless nights that it comes through, the arguments with our spouses about why do you have to do this shit? Couldn't you do that? There's lots to it that shapes an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I think people are scared to share because they're like, again, what will people think of me? In 2020, when the world shut down, I was like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me, I'm gonna go do this thing. Because my family is number one right now. So now it's just like, I will share in my stories the struggles of being, almost 50 years old and dealing most of my life with like struggles in body dysmorphia, eating disorders. Like that's a long time to travel with stuff like that. But it also comes from other traumas that have happened in life.
It is interesting. Like I have 4 girls, right? And I can see that I think most females, have that issue to begin with. My wife, even like we did the influencer, you look stunning in the picture.
Thank you.
Does that mean you liked your photo particularly? Well, like it's mostly...
I love that you're asking this actually, because I think this is really important. I had this conversation, I was hiking down the hill with a friend. I used to talk so rude to myself and be like, it doesn't look right, this doesn't look right, my body needs to look like this, or I need to look like this in this outfit. I go back and look at those pictures now, and I actually apologize and tell myself, I love you, and I love, this piece of you. Like if I was knocking my hips down, or if I was knocking my...
And you got some great hips. Like, come on, you work those puppies pretty nicely.
Up and down that hill.
Yes.
Up and down that hill at Knox. But here's the thing is that now I want my 50s to be the beginning of the best decades. Not that these other decades weren't great. There were lots of development, lots of growth. But that love for self, like I have literally gone through pictures when I've been back in Toronto at my mom's and looking at that teenage girl and how hard I was on her, and just seeing how actually beautiful I was, not just physically, like that's one piece of it. That body dysmorphia, the eating disorders, that all stems from emotional. So like loving that emotional piece of someone, of self, really, right?
And being okay with that.
And being okay with it, because the dialogues we have in our head of like, F this, blah, blah, blah.
I should be this way.
It's such, now I can say that I am definitely in the stage in my life when I look at myself, and yes, things have changed. Yes, things look different, but I'm like, I love you. And that's a great feeling.
It's my wife. She's going up at the 50s too, which I'm sure she doesn't like me to talk about it, but she's up there too. And same thing, like as she approaches the 50, she's like, you know what? I'm cool. I'm good. I'm fine. I look stunning.
She's gorgeous.
I don't want to hang out with ugly people. Of course. She is a stunning woman, and I love her deeply.
Yeah.
But I also love the person behind it. And again, it's the authenticity behind it. But I find having uncomfortable conversation and plowing through this, and we always are, because I'm so direct all the time.
Yes.
So it confronts her to a lot of things herself too, but then you end up resolving stuff actually much better than not to talk about it, which is a
100%.
society that right now is like, you shouldn't say that. Why did you have to say it that way? You should have said it that way. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's have some real conversations so we can work through this. And really giving the person, my husband and I are
Who's
really,
a Taurus too.
He's also a Taurus,
Yeah.
and he is like, man, he came into my life at such a great time of me evolving as a human being. But we have these conversations where we listen. I mean, I do interrupt him a lot. I blame it on being Italian. Or a woman. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not.
And he's like, I'm not done yet. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. There was a pause. I'm like, can you just say period when you're done? Or like, it's just, I want to give him the space to say all of his feelings. And he gives me the space to say all of my feelings. And then there's an understanding of like, okay, I got to try and look at it, even though in my mind, like, I'm like, no, but what I'm thinking is right. I've learned a lot from listening. 2 years, one mouth.
Yeah, I did. You are 100% on the money on that one. I did the same thing, or I see it. Like, the more you start to listening, and not feeling, because your feelings are your feelings.
Yes.
But you're listening, you start to hear more. And it does require the other party to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You gotta, and even myself, like I find myself where my wife then had just had to say, okay, let me finish talking. But it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. And to have the real conversations, because I don't want to pretend we're not carpet sweepers. Like a lot of people sweep it under the carpet and then it builds, you explode over the most stupid thing. And I can say that we've always had the open conversations. However, when I have to process something, because I do want to always ask myself this before I get into a conversation, what's my part in it? Because there has to be a part of me that is taking part in this.
Well, it has to be. It's a two-way street.
So it's like, why am I looking at it this way? What is it about me as a human that finds this irritating, and what is it that I have to take care of about for myself?
So now, your husband.
Yes.
What number is he?
What do you mean, what number?
How many husbands? You do not sound like that this is your first husband.
This is not my first husband.
And this is not my first wife either. So
I'm like, do you want to know how old he is? I don't know if he wants me to show. He doesn't care.
He's number 2 or 3?
He's number 3.
Nice.
So
you learned. Actually, that's going to be probably going to talk about some things where you fucked up. At the fucked up party?
100%.
That would be brilliant. Because I'm just as bad. I'm on number 3 too.
There we go. And we share a commonality.
We knock on wood. Keep it.
Okay. Yeah, 3 is
a good number. This should be the final number.
Yes.
We're working towards it. But you do learn a lot out of your previous relationships, I found.
Oh my God.
Where all of a sudden you like even communication, like having listening instead of speaking.
Yeah, or trying to prove the point. I think I was so young when I got married.
Trying to be right.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrible. What a horrible, constantly, what
I was that person when I was younger. God. First of all, I was barely 20. I think I was maybe 21 when I got married.
Wow.
And your brain's not even really fully developed there. And of course, growing up the way I did, very European, it's like, well, our way is the right way. Bottom line,
that's Italian too.
It's very Italian, and I'm not blaming my mom. My mom's incredible and very open-minded. I would say I would take after my dad in that manner.
Nice.
I was so young and didn't even understand who the heck I was. how could I possibly, and I commend those that can make that happen. I just wasn't in
Headspace.
I wasn't in the headspace. And when I married my kid's dad, I was in my late 20s. And I really thought that I had it figured out. But I'll tell you something, I still wanted to be right on things. We've talked about a lot of things. Our goal is to co-parent for our kids.
How old are your children?
The youngest is almost 18, so he's 17.
Nice.
And then our daughter is 19.
Nice.
So
they still live at home too?
Kind of. They're kind of in and out. One's going to be traveling all over again, and
Nice.
the other one is, he's ready to move out.
Perfect.
I know, we're going to be empty nesters here pretty fast.
This is awesome. I go through that run right now too. I can't wait.
I'm
She's a
excited.
lovely girl. That has nothing to do with
Yes.
it. But it does, like having all those bodies at the house, being a step parent is not easy
Yes.
too. But like, okay, let me have my own time with my wife. Like there is, and like,
Yes.
there's another phase for you actually, when you're in your 50s, going to become another person,
I'm going to so become another person.
Anita.
I'm going to be a very different Anita than I am today, and I would hope so. I hope
you're not going to be shitty. I hope you're going to be better, like
Well,
even
of
great.
course I'm going to be completely elevated in the most amazing way. Let's be really
No,
clear
that's
on
wishful
that.
thinking. We got to
That's
aim
not
for
wish.
that.
That's not wishful. We talked about this earlier. That I
Yeah.
am very resilient and determined, and a lot of
Good for you.
perseverance. So I will be. I know I'm going to be continuing to evolve to be the best version of me because I want to do the work. I'm willing to do the work.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to stop learning. I will always be that student, and I'm here for it. It doesn't scare me, it excites me. So that's why I sit here so confidently going, oh, I know I'm going to be
Going forward, moving, becoming a better, greater, better.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Good for you.
100%.
So what is wisdom, wealth, and well-being going to look like in 10 years?
In 10 years from now, I honestly feel this because it's already starting to happen just in the, where are we, May, June, July, August, we're 3 months in, and we're already making these international connections.
Because you talked about France, being in France.
France,
That's amazing.
yes, Italy is on
Of course.
the table.
You just needed a reason to visit your family.
I did, and they're so supportive and so curious and like saying, hey, how do we
Get part of that.
Yes. So there's lots of things happening in the US. So when you ask me what does it look like 10 years from now, 10 years from now, it looks like bigger stages, being alongside really incredible speakers who might seem out of reach for others, sharing stages with when you think of like Tony Robbins, for example, or his wife. I think I will. I know I am worthy and capable of being on stages with them. I know that I can be with those
Good for you.
impactful
That's
thought leaders.
Yeah.
And that's what I see in 10 years with our arms being wrapped around the globe. I visualize this every single day. And I'm not saying we need to have 100 branches in every country. What I'm saying is I want to have quality across the globe. And it's already starting. So in 10 years, and what we can develop, because it's not just about the events, and I don't know if you even know this piece, it's about creating community impact everywhere we are. So helping to raise money to go right back into our community and communities across the world.
I love that the most because rightfully or wrong, I find that we are so invested outside our own community. Whether they need the support or not is totally irrelevant. But I find, this is my belief, that if you look after your own backyard first, you build the foundation to then look after others.
Absolutely.
And there's so many issues we have in our community that haven't been addressed. They're worked on, but they haven't been addressed. That if we clear that one up, so this is why I like it, you put the money back in here, is family. You look after your family, and your family lives in your backyard.
My family and that was what was so important for me, to build here. I started building as a franchisee of the former company, but it was like the community impact that I was doing alongside other exceptional humans up north in northern Alberta was like, I want to do this in my own backyard.
Yeah.
Like it was home for a while, like back and forth from here to there. But it was like, this is where I put my head down at night. This is where our kids are. I have 2 bonus daughters as well. Our children are here.
I love it that you said bonus daughters.
Yeah, they are my bonus
cute.
daughters.
That's
They're
very
amazing.
cute.
They're 25 and 28 this coming Monday. And being a stand for them and what they're capable of in their own community or wherever they decide to root, it's like, I'm responsible to my family and I feel socially responsible. And I've shared that quite often of like, my voice actually matters alongside other humans that are like-minded. That power together will create even deeper impact in our community.
Me listening to you right now, like, you know, you would make actually a very good politician.
You are not the first, second, or third person. Someone asked me if I was going to run and go into politics, and I'm not going to take it off the table.
I don't think the pay is as good.
And you know what? And I love that you say that, because we shouldn't be ashamed of making money.
No. Like,
we need it to live.
I can admire people that do that, because some of the beatings they're taking for the money they get paid, I would punch people in the face for that kind of abuse at times.
Yes.
You know, and I live in a world where you can't please everybody.
No, you
and
can't.
But like, you know, I mean, would I love being I think I would be a shitty politician. I most certainly are. You, however, you are the second person in Kelowna that I spoke about politics, that I think there's another person, she's a little bit more seasoned than you are, that I think would be good the way you talk.
Okay, you need to tell me who that is after, because maybe I need to make friends with her. So I don't know. You know what? I don't know what will happen. I'll be put in the right place if that's supposed to be my path.
Yeah.
I believe that. I do believe I have a voice that can make the changes.
So if I'm now the third, fourth, fifth person that had that, maybe there's something. So maybe you should put that in your path instead of saying, well, maybe listen to your surroundings.
Totally.
What is actually happening? I'm not saying go
do it tomorrow.
Because you have a different mission. But they are like, you look at a lot of politicians that have been very successful entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I can, in Kelowna, can only think of Loyal Wooldridge, who was a very successful entrepreneur in the hair industry and is now a very successful politician.
Yes.
Or Renee Merrifield, she was a very good politician, she was very successful, is now going back to the business as well to help the community that way.
Excellent.
Like, I think it's stunning. 10 years, you're gonna be global, you're gonna go bigger. Are you going to stay in Kelowna? Are you going to plan on moving? Because we talked about this off camera. Like, Europe is stunning. That's going to be a hard one.
I literally had this conversation this morning with another incredible female entrepreneur of like, I love Kelowna deeply. I've been here for almost 20 years, and I feel like I'm being pulled away. Not quite yet, because there's a lot of roots that are being put down in the U.S. and like in Europe, etc. I don't know if I'll be here in 10 years. I'd like to say that I'll still have a property here in 10 years. I don't know if this will be home base for me. What I believe and what I'm seeing the shift going is I'm traveling so much. And it is, and the Kelowna airport's amazing, but being somewhere where it's more of a central hub, you know, for example, Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, like those are hubs that it's easier for me to get around to. Am I saying I'm gonna go there? No, I might end up in the States in a completely different hub. But I do feel very drawn and called within the next 10 years to actually be in other spaces and places.
Is that what you're aiming for, essentially?
It's, you know, I would say yes.
I hope so, because the US is a big market. Europe is a big
market, and opportunities keep coming. And so I can't ignore that. It's like you're asking me, and it's almost like I feel guilty for saying, Yes, I need to spread my wings.
Because
and
you're like,
fly.
oh, I love the community.
But I love this community so
No.
much. And the reality is, I'm still the franchisee, even though I'm the owner of the company here in Kelowna. I have to find someone who is going to take over this branch. It makes no sense for me to keep working in the branch. I do because I love this community. Really, I've just evolved since last September, not even a full year, and it's exploded here in Kelowna.
Yeah.
And so the honesty is, yes, of course, I'm going to have to move forward, let someone else take the reins, bring their beautiful magic as I grow and evolve this international brand.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Anita, I wish you well. I hope, and I'm sure you're going to go like far. And hopefully I can interview you at your next time in France or in Italy, and
Yes.
have a glass of wine in that region. I wish you the best.
Thank
and
you.
I look forward to see more of you.
Thanks so much for having me. I had a great time.
Me too. Me
Okay.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.